Hello, marry me. So it's early morning here in Norway. I am visiting my mom, so I have to make this video fairly short so that it can be uploaded on her crappy internet line. Anyway, I wanted to review an iPad app named iDowsing. So let's here start it up. This is how the startup screen looks. If I can get it into focus, there we go. So what this is, it's pendulum charts and a bit of pendulum exercises. Let's go through some of what we have here. We have basically two options, practice and work. And if you press practice, we have holding, moving arrow, Yule natural, center, and more, which is basically, well, more advertisement really. Then we have holding. Holding just tells you how to hold the pendulum when using this app. That's it basically. Then you have moving arrow, um, which comes up with more simple instructions. Basically, this is a good exercise. Basically, what you do, if you see here, you can see the arrow moving. Basically, it's an exercise where you just sit and relax and let the pendulum then flow with the arrow. It's a good exercise to basically attune yourself with the pendulum and basically disconnect your will from it and just let it follow the arrow. So that's a good general exercise. Then you have in neutral. It's basically this chart here. It is completely useless because basically it says if it moves that way, it's yes. Basically clockwise yes, counterclockwise no, and up and down neutral. The problem with this is that not everybody has the pendulum moving the same way. For me, for example, a circle in any direction is yes, and a line is no. That's how most of my pendulums work. Everyone I've used so far. And sometimes why I say that is because sometimes it even changes between pendulums. So that a pendulum that you can get a new pendulum and have a completely different set of signals. That's why you should ask a pendulum every now and again to show your yes or no. That one not so good. And then we have summary, which basically helps. It can be useful if you want to focus. It basically shows you those typical kind of cards and how to use the pendulum for them. It's another one of the charts. And then we have more, which is basically nothing because I assume they are hoping to update the app eventually. Then we have here we go, work. And it's basically a collection of various forms of pendulum boards. So you have pendulum accuracy, which is meant to tell you how accurate your pendulum is today. Yes, it could be useful, but on the other hand, if your pendulum isn't very accurate that day, will the accuracy will dowsing for accuracy work? Best time for a working. That can be useful for those who are playing into magic. Basically how a pendulum board work is that you put it down, and normally it will be made out of paper, but in this case you just put your board down. If I can just show that, and you just hold the pendulum over it, and it will swing in the direction of the answer. It's very useful tools. Then you have a time of day. This can indicate, for example, when something will happen. Percentages. Yes, no, neutral. Again, then you have the same of these, which is completely useless. Digits. 1 to 9, so you can, for example, if you're doing this for spirit communication, for example, you can try to figure out when a spirit was born, or the spirit's uh, physical self. You have chakras. Vitality, which I guess is meant to be how healthy you are, until we get that one. Excess and loss. General health. And you have a world map, basically, for triangulation. And it basically you can move it around the whole world in here. If the whole world is on my iPad. The representation of it. And then we have other tools, iDowsing, binaural, and basically which is some sound, basically some sound therapy. So there's a little bonus there. And that's it. So, is this app worth getting? Well, here's my problem with it. It works fine. And it can be very handy to have these cards on your iPad or on your phone, though I think that on a phone it might be too small. At least for data pad like this one, it can be quite useful. However, the problem is the price. In Norway, at least this cost about, what would it be? I think I paid 62 Norwegian crowns, which is about $8 for this, and it's just not enough here to warrant that price. I mean, for that price, you can get a book with all of these different pendulum charts, and I mean, really, you can just grab some paper and a Sharpie and make them yourself. So the moving arrow exercise is nice, and it's nice to have it all collected like this, but I think that it's definitely not worth the cost. It's a nice app in and of itself, and had it cost $2-3, I would have recommended it. But as it is, I think it's extremely overpriced. That is said, a lot of these boards, these pendulum charts are useful. Some of the exercises are useful, some of them aren't useful, but most of them can be quite useful. But not worth the cost. Now it says it will add more after a while, and perhaps the content of this app will grow so that in the future it will be worth the cost. But currently, no, it's too expensive for what we get. But if you want to buy it anyway, you do get a decent package of pendulum boards. However, before you buy, do keep in mind that Amazon, for example, sells books just filled with 1,000 boards that have a lot more of them for about the same price. course you don't get that moving arrow thing, but yeah. So how will I rate it? In and of itself, I'll rate it at 6 out of 10. It's a decent up, not great, but decent, but not worth $8. Of course, sometimes Norway is extremely expensive, so if it's cheaper where you live and perhaps it's $2, $3, $4, then that is a completely different matter. But for the Norwegian price at least, no. And that's my review of iDowsing. I hope you have enjoyed this review. Oh, and happy winter solstice, happy Yule, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever else you celebrate. Have a great time with your family and friends, or whatever you choose to do this time of year. Great day, blessed be.